Hey everybody, welcome back to Exploring Temecula. On today's video, I'm going to compare Riverside to Temecula, give some pros and cons. Riverside is probably the most well-known city in the Inland Empire or Riverside County, so there definitely are people that are moving there. So I wanted to just point out some of the differences, some of the pros and cons of each. I've lived in both cities for multiple years, so hopefully this video will help a few people make a decision on what city is going to be right for you. Make sure you subscribe if you're interested in Temecula. We do 1 or 2 videos every week. We really try and highlight the Temecula area and give up-to-date information on what's going on, not only in the housing market, but also just surrounding area events and things like that. So we also do have now in every single one of our videos home searches in the description, and if you're looking for a home value, we're not only a brokerage, but we are licensed appraisers as well, so you can get an accurate home value in the description. So thank you very much. Let's get into the video. Okay, so the first topic I wanted to talk about were the specific communities in Riverside and Temecula, give some pros and cons. One of the things I talk about a lot on this channel is Temecula and how 99% of the communities in Temecula I would personally live. In regards to safety, in regards to location, to amenities, everything, in my opinion, every community in Temecula has a lot of positives. I would not feel, I would not hesitate to walk around the streets in any community in Temecula, 7, 8 o'clock at night and feel like I could get into trouble. Well, that is not the same for Riverside. Although there are some nicer communities in Riverside, you really have to do your research and figure out which communities you would feel safe in. Personally, we lived in Orangecrest. We never had any issues except, again, the odd car getting broken into. For the most part, Orangecrest is a great family community, and Riverside, lots of parks, lots of opportunity for sports. So definitely check out Orangecrest. There are a few other communities in Temecula or in Riverside that are nice, but just like almost every other city in Southern California, you have one community that's really nice, and then within half a mile, you get it to an area that you don't really want to be, or I probably wouldn't take my family and live there. So you just have to be careful. You have to do your research in which communities you want to live if you're planning on moving to Riverside. Another thing in regards to communities where Temecula, again, is very different than many cities throughout Southern California, is they have a lot of HOAs with a lot of amenities for the residents. Whether it's pools, walking paths, volleyball, basketball courts. Most communities in Temecula are going to have this or have these amenities for you. Now, you could look at this as a downside. You are paying $100 a month for your HOA. Many people do not want HOAs, and you're going to get that more in Riverside. Riverside's a much older city, so the communities in Riverside, if they are even communities, you're not going to have those HOAs in a lot of them. But it's really just depending on what you're looking for or what you like. Some people love the idea of HOAs and some people don't. So I'm not going to get too much into, I could talk about the communities of Riverside and Temecula for literally an hour. And I just don't want to make the video that long. I suggest that if you want specific information in particular on either city, just give me a call and we can go over communities and where to live, where not to live, and I can point you in the right direction. In the description, you can also find some blog posts that I've written specifically on many of the Temecula communities, and it talks about what the amenities are. It has video of the community. So if you're looking for an in-depth, information or videos on communities in Temecula, check the description for the blog post, which will have links to those. Next, I wanted to talk about traffic, and I'm going to pull up a map here just to show you. But in Riverside, the 91 freeway is probably one of the worst freeways in all of America to drive on, where it really gets backed up and the traffic is heavy. In the mornings going west and in the evenings going east back to Riverside. Where the 15 meets the 91, it's an absolute nightmare at nights. So that is one area of Riverside that's horrible. The next would be that I find it gets really congested is the 215 and the 60. Going towards Riverside at night. In the mornings going towards LA, this gets really backed up and is not a fun drive. So those are the two areas I would say of Riverside that are really, really bad. When it comes to Temecula, it's just really the 15 freeway. In the mornings, it's going to be going towards San Diego, and in the evenings is when it gets particularly bad, which can back up all the way, it seems, to Fallbrook sometimes. Hey guys, so next up I wanted to talk about housing costs. Really, this is a loaded question. There's many different factors in why a home costs more in one area than the other. There are areas in Riverside where homes are more than, just like in Temecula, there's areas of Temecula where homes are more. But I would say overall, cost per square foot, if you averaged it out, it's going to be more in Riverside. One of the reasons I feel this way, or this could be, is that Riverside is an older city, 100 years old, 120 years old. So these homes that were built 50, 60, 70 years ago, they're not 3,000 square feet, they're 1,200 square feet, they're 1,300 square feet. So that might be one of the reasons why the price per square foot is more in Riverside. There's many homes in between, 1,000 and 1,500 square feet in Riverside. Because Temecula is a newer city or a newer community, you're hard pressed to find these 1,000, 1,200 square foot homes. The majority of homes in Temecula are going to be that 1,800 square feet to 3,500 square feet. One of the areas of Riverside that I can say you could compare in way of square footages and home costs is Orange Crest, which is just off the 215 freeway. A lot of these homes, are going to be built from 1995 up. They're going to be anywhere from 2,000 square feet to 3,500 square feet. And that's similar to what Temecula is going to be in way of not only the square footage, but age of homes, amenities in that and around that community. So that is comparable. And I would say, Orange Crest and Temecula as a whole, you're going to have a similar price per square foot, similar look or feel to a community. And that is Orange Crest Riverside. Okay, so next up, talking about schools. One of the reasons people move to Temecula is the schools and the ratings, overall test scores. Some of the best schools in California when it comes to those things. So obviously Temecula is going to have, in my opinion, definitely a clear advantage for anybody that, that part is important to them. Riverside, what you need to be very aware of, and I can tell you this firsthand, I was a substitute teacher way back a long time ago, and I was in school districts that it was just not fun, and I did not see myself teaching in those school districts. So, I'm going to warn people, make sure where you move, if the school district is important to you, that you do some research, because there are areas of Riverside where I would not want my kid going to school. Simple. I'm going to say it. People might get mad at me for saying it, but it is what it is. Okay, so overall lifestyle just depends. Again, I'm going to talk from the perspective of just my wife and I not having kids. We love Temecula because we have the wineries. We have a lot of golf around the area, but so does Riverside. We do have Old Town, which we go to often on the weekends to go out. Lots of people are there having fun, going to dinner, having a drink after dinner. Relatively close, very safe. There's never any issues, it seems, and if there are issues, it's like, every 6 months you hear about something. Lots of police down in Old Town. So we really like the lifestyle that we live here in Temecula. Our community pool we go to often in the summer. We use the walking path, which is around Harveston Lake almost every morning. So it really suits what we want to do. In regards to Riverside, yes, there are areas of Riverside that there's lots to do. I'm not going to say that. There's probably, in way of history and culture, there might even be more in Riverside to do. Where we lived before in Orange Crest, the problem was, that was more of a family-centered community. Not a lot to do. There's a couple restaurants in Mission Grove, maybe one or two in Woodcrest, but other than that, nothing to really do in Orange Crest. And then when you get down to the downtown area where you have the Mario's and you have the Mission Inn for going to dinner, which we really enjoyed. You're also, over the years, past 5 or 6 years, watch yourself at night, be careful, and, because it hasn't got better, in my opinion. So yes, even though this area is fun to go to dinner and there are some nice restaurants, would I want to be down there drunk at 11 o'clock with my wife? Probably not. I'm sure nothing would ever happen, but just be careful because there are going to be more instances of crimes down in those areas than you would find in Temecula. Riverside does have a lot of golf courses close. Corona, there's 5 or 6 golf courses in Riverside. So if that is what you're interested in, you really can't go wrong in any part of the Inland Empire for that. A lot of great golf for next to nothing in way of green fees. You're going to spend anywhere from $30 to $60 depending if it's during the week or the weekend. Okay, so another thing about Temecula that we really like, it doesn't really matter what community you live in Temecula. It seems like each community has its sports bar. Each community has its pizza or pasta place. Each community has its pool to go to. So every community in Riverside has these amenities or things to do that are anywhere from, a 3 to a 5-7 minute drive. Where we were in Riverside, which was, yes, like I said, going downtown Riverside was fun, but it does take 20-25 minutes to get down there on a Friday or Saturday night. So, and if you're drinking, you're definitely going to need an Uber. It's $100 a night just for an Uber to get there and back. So those are some of the things that we remember, about being in Orange Crest. It just depends on where you are in Riverside and what it has to offer. Okay, so next up, employment. I wanted to talk about this because this is really important. Even though you might like Temecula more, or even though you might like Riverside more for whatever reason, depending on where you work should be a huge consideration in regards to what city you actually live in. If you're working in LA, Temecula might be a worse choice than Riverside. If you're, working in San Diego, obviously Riverside is going to be a worse choice in regards to where you live. In my opinion, and I've lived here a long time, I cannot stand traffic. I absolutely hate it. I'm glad I have a job that I can work my schedule around traffic. But if you are not from Southern California, I strongly suggest that wherever you live, try and get as close to your employment as possible. In regards to Riverside, Riverside is a big city. There could be just in the city of Riverside a difference of half an hour one way to get to work as opposed to, somewhere else where you live in Riverside. So location in Riverside is important. There are communities throughout Riverside. It doesn't matter where you live in Riverside. There are communities in each area that I wouldn't live, and there are communities in each location that I would live. The traffic on the 60 and the traffic on the 91 is no joke. And when you're 3 months into your job and you're spending an hour and a half, 2 hours every single day one way, in your car, for a lot of people, it's going to drive you to leave Southern California. So now I just wanted to give my opinion on both cities, personal opinion. Take this with a grain of salt. I lived in Riverside for many years and I had some good times there. I live in Temecula now and I didn't understand how much I was missing. I truly love this city. I might be a little biased now that I live here, but I just feel in every aspect, the only thing that would make me live in Riverside now over Temecula is location of employment. But other than that, if I had a choice, really there is nothing besides location of employment, and if you like the older style homes, the 100-year-old homes, those would be the two things that I can think of just off the top of my head of why I would choose Riverside over Temecula. I absolutely love it here in Temecula. It's safe, it's relaxing, it has beautiful communities, has lots of amenities, it has lots of things to do. It's centrally located to so many things that it's just, for me right now in this part of my life, it's the absolute perfect city for me. So either city, you know, can fit your needs, absolutely. I would just caution people that if you do decide to move to Riverside, that you do your research first, because there are areas of Riverside that's just not going to be a nice place to live. So hopefully this video helped you. Please, if you have specific questions, I know this video is tough because I could sit here and talk to you for an hour and a half about these two cities, and I just can't get it all in. But I'm telling you, if you call me, I can spend 20 minutes on the phone and answer every single specific question you have about both of these cities, because I'm very familiar. I've lived in both of these cities. I've sold many homes in both of these cities. We've appraised thousands of homes in these cities. So we can give you a huge advantage if you're from out of, you know, state, or not a huge advantage, but we can give you a lot of good information that will help you, you know, or help you stay away from the mistakes that you definitely could make moving here or there. So thank you very much. Please reach out. I appreciate everybody watching these videos. And until next time, explore Temecula.